right, Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahweh Shai, Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahweh Shai, Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Hakudash. I want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops, great millstone Ruel. Peace and blessings, health and wealth to the house of David the elect, Zahab, Spirit Wind Judah. And today I want to go into a topic entitled basically women's liberation was not of the Most High, something to that effect. Just pulling up right before I clock in, all right? But something that was on my spirit, as I left the house. But women's liberation is not of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, and I'm going to open up with the scripture. This is Titus 2:5. It says to be discreet, chaste. As a matter of fact, let me go a little above that. Titus 2:3. All right. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness. Age means mature. All right, not false accusers. All right, you have women. A lot of times, women, they false accuse, especially on jobs. A lot of wickedness gets spread through people, but especially women being false accusers, not giving too much wine. All right, but now over here in Babylon, you have nights dedicated to women getting drunk. All right, teachers of good things. All right, but what's our women's umbilical cord of knowledge? Women's umbilical cord of knowledge is usually through rap music or female rappers, all right? The media, Hollywood, and local females, man. But none of those entities are teachers of good things in most cases. That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their little ones, or to love their children, all right? To be discreet, all right? And you look up that word discreet, it goes into self-control. Chaste, which means pure. Keepers at home, and that's what I wanted to get into. Keepers at home, all right. So you have something called women's liberation, or women's revolution, all right. Essentially, the sexual revolution, because the Most High never set up women to be sexually liberated. If they were supposed to be sexually liberated, then why would He give them order to be liberated from? All right. So essentially, when women, especially Israelite women, mainly Israelite women, became liberated, they were literally liberated from the natural order that Yahweh Shema Shai set up for the women in our nation. So let's get into the root of it, man. All right, this is a sexual revolution. All right, Wikipedia. It says the sexual revolution, also known as a time of sexual liberation, was a social movement that challenged traditional codes of behavior related to sexuality and interpersonal relationships throughout the United States and the developed world from the 1960s and the 1970s. And if you notice, the world shifted in the Western Hemisphere around the 1960s. That was that demonic time when the world literally transitioned into Satanism full-fledged. All right, they really became they really epitomized the Roman Empire. All right. Sexual liberation included increased acceptance of sex outside of traditional heterosexual monogamous relationships, primarily marriage, which sex submits marriage. All right, sex is marriage. But sexual liberation, like as it says, it included acceptance of sex outside of traditional heterosexual monogamous relationships. All right, and this is where you get the term being single from, which single means one. All right, so if you roll over in bed and someone is laying next to you, then really you're not single. All right, you give a $1 bill, they call it single. That's one. But if single means liberty to be sexually promiscuous, that's just been a slut. Okay, the normalization of contraception. All right, so basically, getting into a sexual liberation allow women to have sex outside of their husband, or allow women to have sex outside the institution of so-called marriage. All right. Which is totally outside of the scriptures, all right, given the definition of marriage. The normalization of contraception and the pill, public nudity, pornography, premarital sex, homosexuality, women being lesbians, women being bisexuals, all right, masturbation, all right, which there's no law on that, all right, alternative forms of sexuality, and the legalization of abortion all followed. And if you notice, everyone has a nature. Everything that Most High creates has a nature. All right, and it's part of your flesh. It has its natural devices. And as you notice, when a woman is not contained she goes off these natural devices that's mentioned in this article. All right. It says sex outside of heterosexual monogamous relationships. So a woman, when she's not contained or full of self-control, she's sexually curious about different men, maybe women. All right. But the sexual revolution gave women liberty to explore their own nature or their own devices without being shamed for it, man. All right. So sexual liberation is not of Yahweh Shema Shai. The Most High is all about, honoring your husband, all right, and self-control, all right. Let me see if I can get that right quick, all right. And I'll get that in Titus right quick too, real quick again. It says, Titus 2:5, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of Yahweh be not blasphemed. As it says in Hebrews, marriage is honorable in the bed undefiled. All right. Let me see if I can get that right quick. Hebrews. So I can just pull it up. I really don't use this particular site. All right, here it is. Marriage is Hebrews 13:4. Marriage is honorable in the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers Yahweh will judge. So marriage is supposed to be honorable. But how can marriage be honorable if you already gave the cookies up, man, before so-called marriage? Because every man you had sex with, that was your husband, all right? Really, the first man you had sex with was your actual husband, all right? That's why you bled, all right? That was a token of your virginity. Everything is out of whack. That's why the scripture says the earth is defiled under the habitations thereof, because basically they transgress the laws. But they transgress the laws through these movements that cause rebellion against Yahweh's way, man. All right? But I got to go and wrap it up. Let me get this final scripture. All right, this is a Sirach 25:25. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad a bride. And now, according to this article and what you see around you, that's the manifestation and that's the intel of what happens. Or when you give a wicked woman or a woman who's not in her order, all right, liberty to gad a bride. All right, basically promiscuity, all right, homosexuality, all right, abortion, all right, all types of duplicity in her nature, all right. And they don't even, they talk about women's liberation or sexual liberation, but they never go into the skyrocket of STDs, man. The skyrocket of single parent households, man. Because these women, they've been freed by their oppressor to transgress the laws of the Most High. But with that, I hope you brothers and sisters are edified. To the next time.